very good morning to all of you. Honorable President GITAM, Shri Bharat Garu, Professor M.S. Prasad Rao Garu, respected Vice Chancellor GITAM deemed to be University, Professor K. Sivaram Krishna Garu, Pro Vice Chancellor GITAM deemed to be University, Founder Global Workforce Management, Shri Shivakumar, Co-Founder Global Workforce Management, Shri Partho Ganguli, Convener CHRO, Dr. Pappu Raja, dignitaries present here, delegates, faculty, supporting staff, fellow students, and press and media. A very warm welcome to all of you. May I request all the dignitaries and CHRO members to grace the dais. A very warm welcome to all of you to the GITAM CHRO Conclave 2018 Leading Through Disruption in association with Global Workforce Management Forum, which is the first workforce management forum in the world initiated at India. Sponsored by lead sponsors La Moda, the largest online store of clothes, shoes, accessories and merchandise. Co-sponsors Skill Recruit, Global IT and Leadership Staffing Solutions Providers. Associate sponsors Bits.io and SQ. Logo sponsors Metamorphosis, Q-Minds Consultancy. Print media sponsors Red Magazine. Branding partners Design 7. Travel partners Akbar Travels. Hospitality partners The Park. Radio partners 98.3 Radio Mirchi. The agenda for the CHRO Conclave 2018 is Leading Through Disruption. We are living in a world where change is the norm. Disruption is no longer a novelty. It's a way of life inside and outside of work. The forces that drive the intense disruption create complexity that challenges even the most agile organizations. To thrive, organizations must find new ways to balance the waves of change and innovation to create coherence. This is a world that needs speed, agility, and new models to meet the evolving needs of business. CHRO Conclave has 30 plus prominent speakers from different domains of industry who will explore the critical role HR leaders play in creating a competitive advantage by finding value within the disruptive layers of the business environment. So, before we gear up to our discussions, let's all raise for Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam, Sufalam, Malayaj Sheetalam, Shasya Shamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Shubhrajyosna Pulakitayaminim, Pullakusumita Drumadala Shobhinim, Suhasinim, Sumadhura Bhashinim, Sukhadam Varadam Mataram, Vande Mataram. Mataram, Vande Mataram.
Light is a symbol of brightness and prosperity. To make this day a blessed one, invoke Goddess Saraswati by kindling the lamp of knowledge and wisdom. For seeking the choicest blessings for the same, I request Professor M.S. Prasad Rao Garu, Vice Chancellor GITAM Deemed University, and Sri Shivaram Kumar, Founder GWFM, along with Sri Bharat Garu, President GITAM, to light the lamp. I also request the dignitaries of today and CHRO members to join them in lighting the lamp. May I now request Professor Sivaram Krishna Garu, Pro Vice Chancellor GITAM Deemed to be University and Dean and Director GSIB to deliver the welcome address.
Sabhaku Namaskaram. A very good morning to all of you. A warm and hearty welcome to this CHRO Conclave. Dignitaries on the dais, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M.S. Prasad Rao Garu, Honorable President of GITAM, Sri Bharat Garu, of the dais, our governing body member, Hamza K. Mahdi, heads of the institutions, Registrar of GITAM University, heads of the departments, faculty, delegates, student friends, and today's distinguished speakers on the dais, press and electronic media. I feel it's a great privilege and honor to welcome you all once again for this Chief Human Resource Officers Conclave, which is going to discuss on leading through disruption. First of all, let me thank all CHROs for two reasons. One is they have done a lot of service to the corporates and to the society by managing human resource. Out of all the resources given by the nature, the greatest resource is human resource. So we are all people managing that greatest resource for taking care of the other resources on this universe. And the second reason for accepting our invitation, gracing this occasion, and going to bless GITAM Deemed to be University as a CHROs of various great corporates. This conclave is aptly designed by the Global Workforce Management and GITAM School of International Business by taking a topic, leading through disruption. Disruption has become the way of the life. As an individual, we have to disrupt from our present status and move on for the betterment of individuals, his own thing. Disruption is not for the sake of moving from status quo to something. Disruption is always to add something more, something better, something qualitative. That way, As an individuals, we have to disrupt from our status quo. As a functional person, we have to disrupt. As an organization, we have to disrupt. As a state, we have to disrupt from the existing and go for a better things. As an economist, the disruption has become the way of thinking. That's how we are seeing in the worldwide, disruption is the buzzword. If you won't think in a disruptive way, you are going to be disrupted as an individual, as a function, as an organization, as an economy. That's what we have been observing worldwide. This conference has aptly designed to sensitize, particularly the student community who are going to take the lead, who are going to be the torchbearers of this particular society. You people have to understand what do you mean by disruption, how to develop the thinking of disruption, how to use the disruption for the betterment of corporates and society. And the academicians and academic institutions have to think how disruption is going to take care of in their academic curriculum and academic design and all that. And corporates also, some of the delegates are here, they also will understand the importance of disruption, how to take care of it. That's how it is like a sensitizing all stakeholders who are going to be affected with the disruption. This conference is going to be a benchmark. It is going to make a lead. This is going to go into further deep, I think and I hope, other academic institutions, corporates and student body and professional bodies will take a lead that everybody has to think and talk and do something about disruption. Then only we are going to the forefront wherever we are, as an individual, as a corporate, as an economy. That's how aptly designed, and I congratulate Raja, Professor Raja Papu, who is the convener of this particular conference. I think from the day he started this particular concept till now, he is in a great pressure and see that to make it as a grand success. I really congratulate him. Single-handedly, he has done all the things with a little bit support of all of us. Our support is only just give him a conference. Rest of the things he did it on his own. I congratulate him. And I congratulate Global Workforce Management for supporting him and for giving him an opportunity to host this particular event here. I thank them and congratulate and taking a lead in this particular disruption technology and organizing this type of activity in academic institutions. I came to know within 3 years of this particular forum, they have organized more than 30 events of such nature. It's a great contribution to the society and corporate. With these few words, I thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor and President GITAM for giving us an opportunity to host this event and make it as a great event in the GITAM University. Thank you, Aruna.
Thank you, sir, for giving us insights about disruption. May I now invite Professor M.S. Prasad Rao Garu, Vice Chancellor GITAM deemed to be University, to deliver introductory speech.
Dignitaries on and off the dais, my dear colleagues from GITAM, student friends, press and media, a very good morning to all of you. Let me congratulate at the outset Professor Raja, who was instrumental in organizing this conclave. I congratulate all the people who are associated with the organization of this conclave, and also I thank every organization and individual who supported financially and otherwise for organizing this conclave. It's not an easy task to bring 30-odd officials, CHROs, onto a single platform. Most of them are representing multi-billion-dollar companies. Raja has done a great job in bringing these people onto a common platform, and I extend a warm welcome to all these dignitaries to GITAM campus. I thank every one of them for making it convenient to come to this conclave. Today, I just wanted to tell you three aspects. Having come to a CHRO's conclave, something connected with business and management. Even though I'm not a business guru, not even a business student, I should talk something about business and management. In this process, I'm privileged because people who are not in politics, they can talk a lot about politics. They do talk about politics. I'm not in politics, but I'm not also in business also, but I can talk something about business because there won't be anything to cross-check for you regarding my past statements. There is nothing for you to counter whatever I talk. It just goes like that. So I'm privileged in that. The second aspect is that I would like to present before the dignitaries what type of talent I can offer from my university so that they can safely recruit our people. The third thing is I would like to request the dignitaries to tell our students the scope of their individual companies and what is it they are expecting from the university and from our students so that they can get ready and face the interviews and get proper jobs in their respective companies. That is the main purpose as far as I am concerned. That's my motto as far as my students and my university is concerned. I'm not bothered about the rest of the aspects. We have 4 business schools in GITAM University. The GITAM School of International Business, GITAM Institute of Management in Visakhapatnam, and Hyderabad Business School and Business School in Bangalore campus. So we have 4 business schools. Every year, there are so many business professionals going out of our campus. And I'm happy that all the 4 schools are doing wonderfully well, giving good training to our students. And they are preparing business professionals, not in tens, but in hundreds every year. In making these professionals, in my sense, a professional is one who has proficiency in the job he has taken up. Proficiency in the field he was trained for. So, if you say that I'm a professional, I'm confident that I am perfect in my profession. If you are not perfect in your profession, naturally you remain as an amateur. Now, these professionals always, they will be proud of their profession. If you are proud of your profession, then only I consider you as a professional, otherwise not. So when you will get that proudness in your profession, you get the proudness in your profession if you are maintaining some professional ethics. You are maintaining some professional rules and regulations. If you are maintaining your integrity, if you are maintaining your dignity, then you say I'm a professional. If we can teach our students to maintain that dignity, if we can inculcate that professional ethics on our students, I think our job is more than done. If we cannot maintain these professional ethics and integrity in our profession, then you become an ordinary fellow. you lose your pride. You take any profession. I'm a teacher. I proudly say that if somebody asks me what is your profession, I'm a teacher. My teaching is my profession. When you can say that, if you are doing your duty to the best of your ability, you may not be extraordinary, but if you are able to do it to the best of your ability, I can proudly say that I'm a teacher. My profession is a teaching profession. Now, you're not doing your job for nothing. But my job is teaching. My job is not earning. There is a basic difference between the two. I'm being paid for what I'm doing, but I have to maintain my family. That's what for I am paid. But my profession is teaching. My job is teaching. Similarly, if somebody asks, what is your profession? I'm a sportsman. If Virat Kohli says, I am representing 130 crores of Indians as the captain of Indian team, we salute him. If he says that I am playing for the money I am getting, then we disown him. There is a difference between the two. When Mohammad Azharuddin scored 3 centuries on the trot in the first 3 tests he played, Imran Khan came out and said, give me Azharuddin, I can beat any team in this world. But when he was involved in match fixing scandal, now even an ordinary fellow is not ready to shake hands with Azharuddin in public. That's the difference between maintaining ethics and professional efficiency and ethics. So that's what happens. For example, you take any politician. What is the respect a politician gets? What is how you treat a politician differs individual to individual. You name Lal Bahadur Shastri, you salute him. You name Sardar Patel, you salute him. You name Abdul Kalam, you salute him. Did everybody else get the same recognition and honor? Certainly not. What is it that is differentiating these people from rest is their character. What I want to emphasize here is that in all these people, whether it's politics or sports, or if you are a doctor or engineer or a teacher, whatever it is, there is a common goal for every one of us. If you are sincere to your profession, that is the well-being of the society, the well-being of human beings, the well-being of the people around you. All these people will be working for a common cause. If that is there, those are the people who will be respected. If that is not there, these so-called extraordinary people will become just less than ordinary. They will not be considered for anything. Now, in business, these business people, when you ask a person, what is your profession? If a businessman says, business is my profession, if he can raise his head and say, business is my profession, he will be able to say that provided his business is useful for the society. But once you say business, only answer you get is business is for earning money. If that is the cause for which you are doing business, then you will not be able to raise your head and say that I'm a professional businessman. So, the teachers with us now, if we can inculcate that spirit of business in our students, saying that business is for the good of the society, business is not for making money. If you can inculcate that, I think we have done more than our job. This difference you can see. See Tatas, see Ambanis, see Adanis. You can see the difference, I need not tell you. Now, coming to academics. It is unfortunate that nowadays people started making academics also into a business. It is very unfortunate that any politician in India, out of 540 lawmakers, each one has a academic business, either in his name or his spouse's name or his son's name or daughter-in-law's name or daughter's name. So academics has become business nowadays. You can ask, GITAM also belongs to a politician? No. GITAM was started by an academician in the beginning. Later, he was dragged into politics. He never started GITAM with his business background, rather political background. It was started by an academician, a great visionary, Dr. MBBS Murthy Garu. Unfortunately, he is no more today. He met with an accident recently. Had he been today here, he would have been the most happiest person. Unfortunately, we miss him today. So academic business has crept into academics, which is very, very unfortunate. Now, what I want to say here is, GITAM stands apart from this business outlook in academics. GITAM was started in 1980 as an engineering college. It got the status of a university in 2007. We started 2 more campuses in Hyderabad and Bangalore in 2009 and 2012. Now, whatever single rupee GITAM got through organization of these schools and colleges, every pie was spent in the development of GITAM. Every pie was spent in the for the welfare of the students who are studying with us. And in that way, we never made academics as a business. That is the area where GITAM stands away and far away from the rest of the people. Now, what I want to offer to these dignitaries from GITAM side, GITAM has every faculty on our campus. We started with business, we started with engineering courses, then we added management courses to that. We have 2 management schools in Vizag, as I told you just now, and 2 more in Hyderabad and Bangalore. We have a very big science college, a very big engineering college, and then we have architecture college here, we have law college, we have a pharmacy college, and we have a big medical college where we are sitting right now, and a nursing college, and we have programs in humanities and social sciences. We offer about 190 programs in undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctoral programs. Now, all these companies, they can be IT companies, they can be pharmaceutical companies, they can be different industries. We have personnel, we have students, we have the knowledge to cater to anybody's needs. And not only that, we train our students meticulously. Always we try to imbibe certain qualities based on Gandhian principles and values to make them a holistic personality. That's what we can offer to all these corporates. And in that way, GITAM is always in the forefront to give good students to help these corporate offices. Now, what is it I am expecting from these people? I want these dignitaries to tell our students sitting here, what is the scope of your company? What is it you are going to offer to our students? And at the same time, what is it you are expecting from our students? Please tell them how to prepare for the interviews and how they improve their skills in a particular area which suits your requirement. naturally, the requirement of each company differs from one to the other. So I request every one of you to advise our students, advise our teachers also, so that they can train our students in a proper direction, so that they will all be placed well in their future trials. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you for the wonderful speech, sir. Emily Dickinson famously said, "The soul should always stand ajar, ready to welcome the elated experience." Today, we are delighted to welcome a bevy of achievers to GITAM. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in the felicitation of the senior HR leaders from the greatest of the companies and from across India. On behalf of GITAM and the entire fraternity, we extend a very heartfelt gratitude to all the speakers for sparing their valuable time and making it possible to attend the conclave. Now I request our President, Shri Bharat Garu, and our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M.S. Prasad Rao Garu, to do the honors. Now I request our President to felicitate Unmesh Pawar, Partner and Country Head, KPMG.
Now, may I request our Vice Chancellor, M.S. Prasad Rao Garu, to felicitate Vinay Agarwal, Head HR, Tech Mahindra.
Now I request our President to felicitate Annapurna A, Director HR, Inspiraj.
Now, I request our Vice Chancellor to felicitate Harjit Khanduja, Vice President HR, Reliance Jio. I request Venkatesh Palabatla, CHRO, GMR Hyderabad International Airport.
Now I request our President to felicitate Rajiv Mendiratta, Director WFM DXE.
Now, I request our Vice Chancellor to felicitate Augustus Azaria, Associate Director, IBM, to felicitate.
Now I request our President to felicitate Purnima SP, Director HR, Tejas Networks.
I request our Vice Chancellor to felicitate Ashish Gaikar, HR Leader, Capgemini.
Now I request our President to felicitate Now I request our President to felicitate S. Yamini Krishnan, Director HR, South Asia, IMS Health.
Now I request our Vice Chancellor to facilitate Rangarajan Subramaniam, Head of TA, EY.
Now I request our President to felicitate Kiranmay Pandyala, former Corporate Vice President, AMD.
I request our President to facilitate Gracie Samson, Senior Director HR, Informatica.
Now I request our Vice Chancellor to felicitate Manoj E.G., Head HR, Microfocus.
Now I request our President to felicitate Prabhakar Lingareddy, Vice President HR, ITC Agro.
I now request our Vice Chancellor to felicitate Deepak Gupta, Head HR, India and Senior Director HR, DST Systems.
Now I request our President to felicitate Rajesh Chandran, Vice President TA, ITC Infotech.
I now request our Vice Chancellor to felicitate Ranjit KP, Director HR, Fortinet.
I request our President to felicitate Anil Chandra, Director HR in Mobi.
I now request our Vice Chancellor to felicitate Vikas Dubey, Head HR, Persistent Systems.
I now request our President to felicitate Ranganath IVS, Head of HR, Sriram Bioseed Genetics.
I now request our Vice Chancellor to felicitate Sanjay Lakhera, Campus Head, LG.
Now I request our President to felicitate Rohit Mogra, Vice President HR, Yush Bank.
I now request our Vice Chancellor to felicitate Harris AW, Global Head HR, Sandria Engineering and Consulting.
I now request our President to felicitate Madhavi Saripalli, AVP HR, HSBC Bank.
I now request our Vice Chancellor to felicitate Mayank Bhatnagar, General Manager HR, CNN IBN.
I now request our President to felicitate Jagannathan V, Senior Director, Biocon Limited.
I now request our Vice Chancellor to felicitate Manoj GNV, Associate Director HR, Cognizant.
And finally, the founder and co-founder without whose support we couldn't have done this conclave. And I request our president to facilitate Partho Ganguly, co-founder GWFM.
I now request the President to felicitate Dr. Shivakumar, founder, GWFM.
I now request the dignitaries on this stage to stand for a group photograph.
It's an honor for us to have a president amongst us, the backbone of GITAM, a young, dynamic and an energetic leader. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome President GITAM, Shri Bharat Garu, to deliver the presidential address.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I want to take a cue from our Vice Chancellor to simplify the greetings to the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, faculty, delegates, students, to our organizers, Professor Shivaram Krishna Garu, Professor Raja Pappu Garu. They've done a fantastic job. Due credit to them, but I want to just add a caveat to that. I think no matter the amount of hard work that's been put in, if the value is not gained from the participants and the delegates today, I think the effort is wasted. So I really look forward to students and faculty really listening to these people who've come and who have agreed to come and participate in this event. Thank you to you all to agree to our invitation and visiting our campus. As an individual, I think if I'm sitting here as a student, I would think about certain things. I want to extend myself, and I want to ask the HR leaders on the stage. Succession planning. This is something that every company should be and every organization should be thinking about. We've been facing this over the last 1.5 months. The unfortunate circumstances that led to the demise of our president has put us in chaos. We're in a vacuum to lose a person of that experience and that stature. And obviously, I don't have any gray hair on my head, and he started this organization in 1980. He was 42 then. I'm 29 today, and I've been inducted by the governing body to lead the society that presides over the university. So obviously, I feel overwhelmed to be in this position. So I think that's something that all of us as individuals, as organizations should think about seriously, because it's not just the president, it's about every role in the organization. What is the succession planning? What is the future of the organization? Where are we heading? How are we going to get there? I think the other thing that I would ask, and I'm sure people would be covering it here in this conference, is how to build a strong culture that promotes meritocracy, that promotes independence, because I think not only in the academic sector, I think in every sector that's something that's not that easy to create, because there's no one solution that is fair to all, and we come from a very complex country with so many diverse opinions and diverse caste, creed, religion, etc. So that's one thing that I'd like to learn. So Professor Raja Papukar, I was asking him, what is this conference about? What would you like me to speak? He sent me a few points. One of them is about bringing industry and academia closer to each other. I think definitely that's something that colleges like ourselves have been speaking about for 20 years, but have not actually been very effective in building those deep, sustainable bonds. So we'd like to learn from you. What do you want from universities such as ourselves? What would you like to see moving forward? I'm not interested personally in a transactional relationship or not necessarily a give and take, but more in building a sustainable relationship. So I'd like to understand that. So as we meet in this conference and afterwards, I'd like to hear you on how that can happen. And the other thing is, can we get a raise of hands? How many business students are here in this hall? Okay, maybe a third. Engineering? Yeah, the larger. HR, so there's like, that would be a specific sub-trend of the MBA program. So I think that is covered in the MBA thing. So engineers don't feel, why are we here? What are we doing over here? It's not just about jobs. It's also to learn something that I was told when I was in my undergraduate institution. It's as much you picking them as them picking you. So you have to also look into what organization are you applying to, what is the culture of their company, what is your future heading in there. It's not just about getting a job, getting a salary, because you will probably get that because you're in a decent organization, I want to say. But it's about where you're going to be 5 years, 10 years from now, and realizing whether you can achieve that through the company that you choose to join. And disruption, that was a word that was used. Disruption is definitely necessary, and I don't know if it is related to HR specifically, but one thing that we're seeing in the academic space is we don't know if a 4-year or a 2-year undergraduate or a graduate program is going to be relevant 15, 20 years from now. Because if the companies were to come and say that I require somebody with a certificate in artificial intelligence and machine learning and that's enough, then what are we doing over here, teaching them for 4 years about computer science? The world is changing every 6 months, every 1 year. So we're learning, we're evolving, and we want to see how we don't get disrupted but remain a disruptor. So I call forward to all faculty, all students to come and contribute to think about this direction, because we already have the physical infrastructure. And I personally believe that there is a role for a campus like this, because motivation is not something that is easy to create sitting at home. When you're in an ecosystem of motivated peers, I think it makes you work harder, makes you think seriously about your career. So there is some time to go. If Harvard and Stanford are going to survive, then we have 20, 30 years lead according to that. So I don't want to take too much of your time. I've enjoyed coming and addressing you all, because this is the first address that I've made to a large audience since I've been inducted as the president. I'm still learning. I'm still learning what this role means, because there's one thing for sure: I cannot do what all my grandfather did, because he knows which tree, which leaf when it fell, which brick when it was built. That level of understanding and love for the organization takes time to cultivate. But I bring the passion and the interest to learn from everything that has happened in the past, but also at the same time see what is it that is required for the future and be prepared to address those things and move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for opening up a topic on succession plan of HR. Now, I request Dr. Raja, convener CHRO Conclave, to deliver vote of thanks.
Thank you. I consider it a great privilege to propose the vote of thanks to all the dignitaries who have been part of the first GITAM GWFM CHRO Conclave. First and foremost, I would like to dedicate this event to our founder president, late Sri MBBS Murthy Garu. I am sure we all will work hard towards carrying his vision forward. I would like to thank our new head of the family, Honorable President of GITAM, Sri M. Sri Bharat, for extending his full support. He has taken personal interest and drove this event. I would also like to thank Honorable Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Board of Management, members from Central Administration, and all the heads of the various institutions in GITAM. Special thanks to Professor Lakshmi Prasad, Principal GIT, and Professor Sheila, Principal GIM, for their continuous support. This event is executed under the able leadership of Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor and Dean and Director Additional Charge of GITAM School of International Business, Professor K. Shivaramakrishna. I have bothered him day in and day out since last few weeks, and he has taken care of every minute detail and has brought the event into this shape. This event would not have been imagined without you, Annapurna. I invited her for a guest lecture a few months back. She said she will come with few friends, and this is what it is turned into. A big thank you to GWFM, my friends Parthuda and Shiva, for conceptualizing this event and working behind it tirelessly, resolving each and every query of me and managing my mood swings graciously. Can't thank you enough for all the help you have done. The sponsors of the event, Lamuda, Skill Recruit, Bits.io, S-Cube, Metamorphosis, Q-Minds Consulting, and all the event partners. You are the backbone for this event. I extend my special thanks to distinguished speakers who took out valuable time off busy schedules to participate in this conclave. Your presence and active participation are highly cherished. I take this opportunity to express our sincere thanks to delegates, invitees, HR professionals, press, and media. I would also like to thank our CTO, Mr. Gopal Krishna Garu, for enhancing this event with his inputs, and a big thank you to the CATS department for addressing and resolving all the technical requirements for this event. Two people who worked relentlessly with me are Professor Ravinath and Dr. Subramaniam. A big thank you to both of you. I would also like to thank my fellow colleagues of GSIB who handled various committees, administration, and support staff for their amazing support. I would also like to thank Commander Gurumurthy and his team at GIT, Uma Madam from GIM, and other staff members of GITAM for their support. A big thank you to the campus ambassadors and the coordinators of the event. You have put in a real hard work to make this event happen. I would also like to thank the suppliers, vendors, and others who have added value to this event, directly or indirectly. And finally, my dear students, a big thank you to you. We have a long day ahead, and I am sure you will have a great learning experience. Please participate and make use of this event to learn and build a personal strategy for your own career. All the very best. Thank you. Jai Hind. Sorry. Now, I would like to invite our chairman of the committee to felicitate our Honorable President, Shri M. Sri Bharat. Chairman Garu to felicitate Honorable Vice Chancellor Garu as well. We'll continue this event and I'll hand over the further proceedings to the GWFM team. Thank you so much. I request all the dignitaries to take off the dais seats. Thank you.
You can have the best strategy and the best building in the world, but if you don't have the heart and the minds of the people who work with you, none of it comes to life. While businesses race into the digital age at breakneck speed, the HR department attached to these companies are running to catch up. The advent of IT and robotics have created a deep impact on businesses and especially the human resources. People today are apprehensive of simply being forgotten in the company's quest to get ahead. Global WFM network through this conclave is trying to explore how new paradigms are evolving as AI, robotics, and machine learning engulfs the world of HR. To talk about the Global Workforce Management Network Forum, let's welcome Dr. Shivakumar, founder and president, GWFM Network.
Good morning. Namaskarandi Bagunara. It gives me a great pleasure being here, and it gives us a great pleasure being here. Can you all hear me at the back? Mr. President, Professor Shuramakrishna and Professor Prasad Rao and Pani Rajapappu, management staff, professors, then lecturers, admin team of GITAM, and our co-colleagues from the industry and industry delegates and students, friends, good morning. When I heard the story of GITAM, I am reminded of Stanford University, the exactly same thing that they have gone through. Isn't it that you're part of this? And since yesterday, I've been experiencing GITAM University campus and kind of hospitality is just mind blowing and amazing. Today, I'm here with thousands of souls meet at one place. You know what happens? Completely electrifying, and I feel that so energetic and electrifying. You can see that thousands of voltage, in my body, just blowing, and this is what is called power of connect, power of network, and here we meet with the industry and the academia. Place to ideate, learn, unlearn, and learn new things. We have a great topic today. Leading through disruption is the right topic to discuss at the right time. We have 30 speakers today going to talk about multiple things. They all come from Hyderabad, Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi, and Bangalore. Friends, leverage the opportunity. And today is the day. 2 keynote speeches, 4 panel discussions, 4 master classes, and every event series is getting into the video streaming. Not only the audience who are watching this, our 10,000 members of Global WFM are going to be watching this, and they're going to witness GITAM University's event today. And today is the day that we're going to blow the roof, isn't it? So GWFM has been a phenomenal Make in India example, like people at the West stunned looking at what this first GWFM forum started in India. We crossed through that in 3 years. We reached from 30 members to 15 members. Our vision is to grow like Asia's largest in 2020, and 2025 we're going to be world's largest professional forum. I'll just talk quickly about this. What is the GWFM? I'll just take a few minutes. This is a vision that we have. We're going to be market leader, especially APAC, Asia-Pac market leader by 2020, and 2025 we're going to be a lakh of members. These are some of the events that can be hosted in places like, this is one of the interview series that we do. We interview CEOs, and a couple of events that we hosted. Me and Partho have been working closely to bring this forum up, and trust me, this is the non-profit organization, and we don't have any membership. People who join us in social media becomes members, and they learn and get to see updates which are happening in the market, networking, and huge knowledge sharing happens. Few of the events that I'm just going to flip through. These are all the events with Jain University, and every event that we hosted, like more than 200 industry delegates. This is in Mumbai. We were the first one to talk about reskilling and redeployment 2 years back in the industry. This was the event that we hosted. This is another event in SPJ in Mumbai, and we talked about Women's Day, and then another one, Leadership Redefined, Women's Day, where we awarded more than 27 top women leaders from multi-professional background. And besides that, we had been for a lot of outing and a lot of fun. This is another event which we talked about reskilling and redeployment in IIM Bangalore. And we had been at KIT and FABS in Mumbai. We released a few of the books of our members. This is another big event that we hosted in LPU with 30 speakers initially, and they wanted us again. We went with 45 speakers. These are the events with LPU. And then we had 3.0 HR events. We are calling Umesh again here. this event. This is social media where, like, you just search through global WFM forum, you find as, minimum 6,000 members there, you see that in social media we have displayed GITAM and GWFM event. More than 10,000 people witnessed this page, and we have been posting a lot of videos, posters and all. And a lot of people going through the social media, connect. And every event that, we have bigger number of crowd, we have few of the initiatives that we started, what GWFM does. This is one event with CIA, Hyderabad we hosted. These are all these speakers that, even Vinay and a lot of other speakers have come here again, with us. This is in SOA Shiksha Vanusandhan in Orissa. It came in newspaper in Orissa and also in news channel. And what is it, we are lined up. So we have biggest CSR event coming up in 1st of December. And we have design thinking programs, and we offer certifications, which is coming up in Hyderabad and Chennai. You can register. What is new thing that we are doing is, we are publishing 2018 employability index. We are doing research with more than 4,000 companies, and then happen in February. In Bangalore on 2nd of February. We want people to participate and join in. This is going to be big talks in 2019. And we have our own media. So to connect with people, learn new things, this is where we exist. And join us in social media. Today's event that, like time to leverage, we are come here to share knowledge and build network with you people. And our relationship, GWFM relationship with GITAM started, and we're going to grow. We would help them building building skills. Also, like, we're going to have association enhancing syllabus. We're going to have industry connect, and we're going to have a lot of engagements with GITAM University. Our journey started now, and we're going to create a lot of initiatives together in multiple places in India, and we're going to grow together, and we want to make GITAM as more employable students, increasing the placement numbers, increasing the quality of education, and then connecting with industries, which is where we want to make a difference. Soon we are planning to introduce students chapter here, and also like Raju and me are talking about setting up a design thinking lab here, which is going to be excellent. This design thinking lab is designed in Stanford University. We want to bring such similar platform in GITAM University. With this, let me not take much of my time. We have speakers. We are all excited to see them and also listen to them. With this, friends, have a great time and connect us with the social media. And we are there today to connect with you people. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Over the last 20 years, almost every business, economy, and country has experienced some degree of disruption through a widespread availability of information. Human resources, as an industry, has experienced the transformative power of information as well. As a matter of fact, the industry surges ahead towards greater heights as we understand our people with more depth and meaning than any of our best guesses or gut instincts ever provided. That intelligence is paramount to the future of HR, and it is driven by a new and a challenging way of working and the future of work. Let me request Partho Ganguly, founder GWFM Network Forum, to set the context of the conference.
Give me an I. Give me an L.
Give me a no. Give me a V. Give me an E. Give me a U. Do you love me? I love you. First of all, this is to my friends, my age. This is to you. Then to older people who are sitting here. Starting from there, Rajiv is 12 years older than me. Yeah? Love you all. My fondest respects, I'm sorry, buddy. My fondest respects to GITAM for doing this. My fondest respects to my Akka for doing this. My fondest respects to Raja to put this together. Shiva, can we have you here for a second? Shiva. Missing in action? All right. Let me call Akka on stage. Akka, on the stage, please. Raja, on the stage for a moment, please. To the senior, I'm handing this over to the senior for all that she's done. You can give it to him. Louder, louder. Now I'm slowly forgetting as to why I'm here. Okay? So, you know, there are times when these my learned HR friends talk about EQ, but I don't have the IQ to understand what is EQ. I get driven by my heart. So by the time I'm driven, this man, this policeman, then says, buddy, you're moving too fast. You know, at 58 plus, that is. Okay? Am I moving too fast is a question that I'm still asking. Right? But you know what happens? Each time life gives me an opportunity to disrupt. And why that happens? Is because of these breathtaking people who connect with me with their heart, because my brain is something that they can't connect. It's dead long ago biologically. Right? So all these people who are here today, they are part of the community that I was fortunate to build along with Shiva. And today, they are here, and that is the disruption. These leaders would tell you how to bring disruption into your lives. And finally, one day, we be part of the audience, and you leaders talk. Raja is looking at me from there, saying that, you know, we need to keep things and go by the watch. But if I have to watch the watch, I disconnect from here. So it's my choice, not yours at the moment because I'm here, right? Now, as the co-founder of the forum, I actually need to set the context. But I think there's no better context setting than connecting it straight to your heart. And I've learned it from my very, very dear friend who's just come in. Thank you, Arjit, for teaching me this. So friends, I have stepped out. Now you are standing there. It's your time to step out. Step out of the zones of aberrations. Step out of the shackles and surge. Because it's your world and it's your glory. God bless you with disruptive minds. God grant you the power to disrupt. God grant you the power. You are unbeatable. You disrupted and you defeated all. Somebody told me this, and I've been living, even if that is a lie, but I'm living that. Okay? All of you sometimes believe in things which you haven't seen, and disruptions will happen. And believe me, before you start putting in exercises to build your leadership skills, people will hail you as a leader. God bless, wish you disruption, wish you leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome the keynote speaker, Mr. Unmesh Pawar, Partner and Country HR Head, KPMG.
Check. All right, good morning, everybody. Come on. There are how many people in this room now? I am told this capacity is what, 1,200 people? That doesn't sound like 1,200 people. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I like that. That's a lot of energy. Thank you very much. And Professor Raja, thank you for having me here. GWFM, Shiva, Parthoda, thank you for having me here. It's truly a privilege. Coming back to college, coming back with students is always energizing and exciting to be here. And we had a round off the campus. You guys truly have an amazing campus. And really proud of what the founders here are doing. It's my first visit to the city of Vizag, and I can say it's a beautiful city. Right? Couldn't have been a better time, great weather, and had a chance to be along the sea yesterday. I worked out of close to the sea yesterday, so beautiful. So here's what we're going to talk today about. Some of the earlier sessions we talked about the disruptions, and I'm going to try and over the next 30 odd minutes try and lay the lay of the land with respect to what really is happening here. So if you think about to touch 50 million users, the television took 75 years. The radio took 38 years. How many years do you think Facebook really took to get to 50 million users? Yes? Well, it took 3.5 years. And how much time do you think, how many of you played Angry Birds? It's a bit ancient now. Everybody plays PUBG. How many of you play PUBG here?
Whoa, look at that. Yeah, but I'm talking about my times when we got onto gaming. That was Angry Birds. So how much time do you think Angry Birds took to really clamp on? 1 year? Well, 35 days. That, ladies and gentlemen, is technology accelerating to reach the customers faster. Our lives are changing, and if you know what Moore's law is, which says that every 18 months, technology changes almost 3 times. When we sent the man on the moon, the size of that computer was less than what an iPhone 4 was, right? Here we are today, and look at the devices that all of you have, potentially are so powered. Let's look at what's happening in the world outside. And for our friends in business and some of you in international business, I hope this resonates with you. And those in engineering, I'm sure this will resonate with you far more, because I truly believe that India as a country with the demographic dividend that we have, we don't need more employees. What do we really need more? We need entrepreneurs, right? We need people like you who are studying engineering, who are studying sciences, to be able to partner with the folks who are studying management and truly look at what we can create. And I think before we do that, I think it's important to look at what's happening on the geopolitical stage as well as on the macroeconomic stage. And here's why I believe it's important. It's important because it's no longer possible that you are working in isolation. We are dependent upon what's happening in and around us, in the countries that are in and around us, as well as in general countries that are on the global stage, because that is really what defines how money flows and how money stops. And that impacts businesses. Today, if you are a CEO of a business, there are certain things for you to genuinely worry about. First, I want to talk a bit about what's happening on the global macroeconomic stage. First really is the sharpening tensions and doubts about US's role on the world stage. Well, we all know the president of US, right? He practically runs the country over Twitter at 3 a.m. But what's very interesting is the move to what's happening on the world stage has started some time back. We all know the role that US plays as the elder country in the world stage, trying to control and to sometimes almost arm twist the way world trade is running. And here we have Mr. Trump, who's basically dictating what he wants to do. I don't think he's really operating like a president, but he's more like a businessman, right? And what he's really looking at is, I need to win so that in the process you need to lose, right? It's not about win-win situations. It's really about, I want to be the toughest negotiator here. And that's all that Mr. Trump's done through his business life, right? And what you see right now is a lot of that. But I think if you look at US policy, I don't think US policy is really very different, right? I think US policy is not really very different. But I think what's really happening is because of the position that US is taking to say, we will intervene and interfere and we will put money only where we believe there's benefit to us, is making US allies really question what do they need to do. And US allies are today hedging its bets, whether it's UK, it's Germany, or some of the other allies. They're all hedging their bets on both sides of the world. And because of this new balancing that's happening in the world, where US was clearly a superpower, right? Now we're starting to see new patterns emerge. Who are some of the other powers that are starting to step up? Folks who are starting international business, what are some of the new powers that are stepping up? China. What you're starting to see is some element of rebalancing happen, where China has started, its aspirations are getting much more wider and bolder. It's making more investments. And if you know about the Belt and Road project that China is really working on, that potentially goes all the way into Europe and is going, and then the whole old, what we call as the old Silk Route. And it's really going to open up trade in a very different route. Russia is no longer the force that was once with USSR, right? But who can tell Mr. Putin that, right? Does Mr. Putin get that? He doesn't get that. And he still believes he does control a lot, and he does believe that he controls and has influence on the world stage. Now what you're starting to see is USSR doing what it needs to do on that side with Syria and other places. You're starting to see China arm wrestling in and around Southeast Asia. And you're starting to see US making its call. And of course, how can we forget the European Union, right? We all know what's happening with the European Union, with Brexit, right? Madam May has decided the fate of UK. It's now going to be England and not what we call as UK anymore. But I think with Madam Merkel in Germany, potentially on her last potential stint, who's really going to control the European Union, try and put some semblance out there? And the European Union, ladies and gentlemen, will really need to implement badly needed reforms to really be legitimate. Because here's what's important to understand. If more and more countries start to break away from the European Union, it is an amalgamation of countries which has a lot of aging population, a lot of senior population. Now, if you have a lot of senior population, what is the consumption going to be? What's the consumption of that population really going to be? It's primarily health, right? And more stuff around senior citizen stuff, right? Are they going to be buying new cars and new vehicles and consumers of more household goods? You're starting to see if it continues the way it is, and if they start fragmenting further and they lack interdependence and they start becoming more independent, they will have no choice but to start becoming more self-sufficient. And in a self-sufficient country, with the size and scale they have in each country within the European Union, the markets aren't big enough. Do you realize that? And if you are a leader and if you're aspiring to be in business as a CEO, look at the impact of that on what you thought at a point in time where your business would have been in Europe. Complicate that further with uncertainty surrounding the future of North Korea and whether they will actually have a nuclear program. Will the nuclear program do something serious, right? With Kim Jong-un in power, I think compared to his grandfather and father, at least he's getting stuff to go somewhere, right? I mean, at least the tests have started to show results. Now, God knows how far he can go. Can he go all the way into San Francisco? But I think the bigger problem is it is starting to, in the Southeast Asia, create more tensions. Now, the dialogue between North Korea and South Korea has started. And like Germany, will they come together? And if actually North Korea, South Korea comes together, then that's an excellent market. But who will play the role in the Southeast Asia then of trying to be the elder brother? Will it be China? Or will it be Abe in Japan? And Japan and China were not the best of friends. But look at what trade makes you do. Right? Abe started to move closer and closer whilst they're friends with US. Abe started to move closer and closer with China. And look at what Mr. Xi Jinping has done. He's now basically become, till he lives, the supreme ruler of China. And God knows till how long that will continue. But I think what I'm really more worried about is not about what China is doing through the Belt Road and some of these things. What I'm worried about is what I've just talked about is what technology is doing in the grand scheme of things in this era. We all know a lot of Chinese tech companies coming through, right? The likes of Baidu, the Alibabas, the Tencents, and the others. And these have a very, very, very strong government backing. How many of you remember a movie that was hacked? I think Sony Pictures were hacked. And a movie kind of was leaked out much before it could release. Do you guys remember that? So you have active Chinese government influencing and helping its companies from China, the Asian tigers, really go out into the world and start take more center stage. We don't know whether the Chinese government is really helping them with respect to access to data which normally could not have been accessed. And you're starting to see in Fortune top 50 or the top 20 companies, a lot of Chinese companies jumping in. And what I'm really worried about is China will not allow Facebook and the likes of Amazon to come in, right? Because it has to protect its own boundaries, has to protect its own companies. And therefore, as a businessman, as a CEO, whilst I would want one internet, I would want one world, because that makes trade easy. Knowingly or unknowingly, ladies and gentlemen, we are setting the stage for, you know what? For two internets. One that's potentially coming out of China and one that's potentially backed by the US. Europe most likely will fall on the West. But we can't know what will happen to the folks in the middle like us, where we will have to land, and how do we hedge our bets. But this is really very interesting. I mean, if you think about where your business would be, and as a CEO, you can no longer believe that it's one world, and therefore I can have a India out strategy. I need to hedge my bets with what's happening in China, with what's happening in Korea, what's happening with Japan. The Middle East seems to be like in a chaos right now. European Union, we don't know. The Sub-Saharan Africa, with authoritarian leaders, is posing its own challenges. So globalization 4.0 is not as easy as was a decade ago, because countries are becoming more and more protectionist. You're starting to see mobility being affected. So you cannot, today if you have to send people from India to US, to UK, to Australia, to Singapore, it's not as easy as it was before. So mobilizing talent is truly becoming a challenge. That's, I think, a little bit about what's happening on the global stage. And I think I didn't want to scare you, but I think it was important to understand that whilst technology is doing what it is doing, the global macroeconomic and geopolitical forces are also impacting more so how businesses are going to move forward. And technology is only going to enable this to a degree. We saw what's happening with Facebook in the US. The government is ripping Facebook left, right, and center. Now, one way to look at this is the likes of Facebook, Amazon, Google, all out of the US right now. If China is supporting its internet companies and completely backing them up, and the US is pulling them up, what's going to happen with this? Right? No longer will the likes of some of these US tech companies be able to be as profitable as they were, because new norms and regulations are coming in. They may have to shell out more to do what they're doing. And potentially, if you look at the trade wars that are playing out, this could have its own implication. Let's move closer into how this impacts human resources as a function. We looked at broader how it is on the global stage. We're starting to see convergence of industries. We're starting to see situations where I have been experiencing where automotive majors are asking us to say, we're having autonomous vehicles. If you have autonomous vehicles, can you work with us to say how it is healthy to travel in our vehicle? So of course, that is risky to travel in. Autonomous vehicles in India, we don't know what will happen with that, right? But we're saying not only is it safe, but it's also healthy to travel in my vehicle, which means a segment or an industry of life sciences is now starting to intersect with automotive, right? Which wasn't what's happening before. We're also starting to see the rising power of consumers. How many Netflix users in this room? Wow. None of you have seen Sacred Games, right? Not meant for your age, some of you guys. You shouldn't be watching that stuff. But we all know how spoiled for choice we are today with what's happening around us. Today, personalization is the way of life. And when I talk about personalization, it's about the 4R, the alphabet R, right? So what happens around personalization is, first and foremost, you get onto an app or a website, it recognizes you, right? It recognizes who you are. The second thing that happens is it remembers what you did the last time. Right or wrong? Third thing, it starts throwing stuff. It starts recommending things to you. People like you are doing this. People who bought this have bought this. People who have done this are doing this. And the last thing it is relevant to you, right? I'm proud about where Flipkart is, but if you go onto Flipkart and you go onto Amazon, you'll know the difference between what I talk about, a stronger personalized engine. I'm sure Flipkart with its AI and machine intelligence will get there at some point, but that's what I mean by the whole personalization piece. Moving forward, I think we're going to start with Industry 4.0. Life's going to really change. I think the early advent of the internet was all about, if I remember my days, was really about using the internet for email. I don't know how many users of Hotmail there are in this room. I believe there would be far and few. Any Hotmail users here? Well, look, I mean, we're like the ancient, fossils in this room. Right? I still use it for all my banking and stuff. I don't know why. I like to believe I'm a hot male, but it's just M-A-I-L. But that's what emails were for, right? That's what the internet was for. Then the internet became really about finding information, right? Then internet was about connecting people. And I don't know how many of you remember, but there were MSN Messenger, Yahoo Messenger, AOL Messenger, all the messengers which allowed you to connect. And then, of course, you had chat sites, Yahoo Chat, India Times Chat, blah, 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 chat sites where people could kind of get to know more people. But beyond that, what you're starting to see is the internet of people magnified with Orkut, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Am I missing anything else? Sorry? WhatsApp. Oh, of course, WhatsApp, right? And then, of course, the likes of Tinder and Bumble and whatever other things that play out, right? It's really about connecting people. But the big shift, what we are seeing whilst we are all here, is about things getting connected to each other, right? Which is really around the space of what we call as IoT and Industry 4.0 or Internet of Me, which is really about, imagine the seat that you're sitting in right now, right? If you at some point in time have had a slip disc, if that seat can recognize what angle your posture needs to be for you to be comfortable, it basically says, it knows what comfort you need, hard, soft, medium, whatever, right? Seat. And based on your personal profile, if that seat could alter itself accordingly because it has sensors, and the sensors connect to the internet, and the internet has access to your personal information, what you're starting to see is in and around you, the devices that you're using start to customize around you, and the Internet of Things starts becoming the Internet of Me, right? And that's the big shift. Think about that in industry today. You have seen some of Alibaba's warehouses, right? You're starting to see robos that basically do all the grunt work that's required of moving things from one place to another, and they take that entire order and take it to a human being to say, I have done everything, can you just put a label, figure out this is right, and then get it out, right? That's Internet of Things. How many of you heard about Michelin? Michelin, anybody? What do you think is Michelin? You have Michelin star restaurants and chefs, but Michelin is actually a tire company. So what should tire company actually be doing? Manufacturing tires, right? But Michelin is now launching something called as Tire as a Service. What does it mean? The big move into the future is people realize that people may not be buying as much cars, because I'm sure you have seen that you have people doing cycle sharing. So you can take a cycle from this place, access the app, and then leave the cycle to the next place. That's potentially what's going to happen fast forward of vehicles. Because public transport, Hyperloop, all this is going to come in and kick in. With all of that happening, people may not be buying as many cars as possible. So companies need to start thinking, what do they do with all of this? And it's possible that like these cycles, you'll have vehicles or cars from one point to the other that you can pick up a car, drop it to the next point and move on. Now the beauty therefore is, what therefore should we as a company do? I need to figure out, when you're sitting in that car, what do I do? How can I sell something to you? Because I need to start seeing an uptake on it. And that's what Michelin is doing. Michelin is using tires and the sensors in the tires to tell you, boss Unmesh, it's high time you learned how to drive. It's clutch, brake, plate, right? You need to understand better, because you're burning your tire more. So you're getting more proactive and predictive. It will tell you proactively saying you're getting to a point where this point in your tire is starting to rub off more, you need to get your wheel alignment done. But they're getting smarter with respect to that. Similarly, more and more manufacturing companies are realizing that the devices that they're manufacturing don't get used as much. How many of you have like this machine drill at home? Some of you have this, right? You know, we men like toys, right? So some of them, so you buy this fancy thing, you use potentially use at best 3 times in your lifetime of that entire thing, right? The question is, I think it's the company's name is Bisel, which actually manufactures high-end drilling machines. What they've started to do is they've realized that the idling of these machines is high, and they know that people may not be buying this as much. So what they have started to do is, can people rent out their machines more? And if people can rent out their big drilling machines more, they're technically making more money, but that applies to everything, right? Chances are people may not want to buy stuff anymore, but be willing to use pay-per-use and move on. Complicated further with, of course, everybody knows about 3D printing, 4D printing, right? You don't need to now no longer wait for a part that is broken to be shipped by the manufacturer. You can go to a spot, you can print it up, take it up, fix it in, and including metal printing, right? So all of these are posing interesting things that are happening. And lastly, from a people standpoint, what you're starting to see is the emergence of the fluid workforce. It's no longer about lifetime employability. People come in, people go, people want shorter careers, people want meaningful careers, people want an entrepreneurial stint, they fail at that, want to come and work for some time till they collect some money to go back out again. People want to do shorter gig stints in corporate life. And the clicker refuses to work. Next slide. All right. I think here's what's happening with human resources as a function. The early 1940s, 1980s was really about the industrial corporation. Fire was a very important skill. I'm sure a lot of my colleagues sitting here, some of you have done your stint in factory, and there is this pride about it, right? Boss, you're in HR, if you haven't done a factory stint, you're not arrived. I'm among those guys who never arrived, right? I was unlucky that I never made it to factory HR. I always was the white collar guy. But yes, that was important. Personal management was important. Workforce administration was really about it. And then over a period of time, it was really about operational excellence. Moving forward, the 80s to 2000s, we started to look at employee performance more. Motivation became important. It was no longer about loyalty, because the 40s to the 80s was really about loyalty. Some of our parents have worked all their life in the same company with scrappy bosses. They would tolerate all the nonsense, all the politics, get shunted from one department to another, but boss needs. How can I leave, right? That's how it was. It moved really to around hierarchical leadership, change management and other things, focus on profit and growth. Fast forward 2000s, really started talking about human capital, right? Companies started to look at human capital, started to talk about what's the cost of capital, value of capital. HR tech started coming in, shared services. Dave Ulrich talked about his HR operating model, and a lot of companies jumped onto the HR transformation bandwagon. And the focus was really around collaboration with management there, collaborative management. Finally, we have reached what I call as the thriving organizations of the future, where cognitive automation, digital labor, as well as analytics is the way of life. And teams now are more network teams, like Bollywood teams or Hollywood teams, right? People come together, do their piece, and go away. The focus is on ensuring that you have deep capability so that you can add value, because if you don't have capability, the chances are people will not want to work with you anymore, right? That set of people will not. So if I'm a cinematographer and I'm coming together to make this movie with Deepika and Ranveer, right? And if I'm not good enough and I do a bad job, the chances are that this director will not sign me up again. So I have to be genuinely good at what I do. And the focus here, especially with the multi-generational diversity that we are seeing in the workforce, is really about purpose and engagement. All of you, as you get into the workforce, want to understand what that organization is about and what it wants to do. And there seems to be a a desire in the young that we have today coming into the workforce to say, I want to be able to create change in whatever little way I can in corporate world, right? Because there is complete apathy with the political system, right? There seems to be an apathy to say, boss, party X or party Y, leader A or leader B, they're equally whatever, right? And therefore that apathy of the political system seems to be labeled onto the corporation. And we as leaders of businesses have no choice but to accept that responsibility and create an organization that's responsive, that's responsible as a good corporate citizen, and help people understand what the big picture here is. Quickly moving forward, when we look at the work that we did with CII and our CEO report that we saw, clearly CEOs expect a partner to drive strategy from human resources as a function. So the research that we did, 54% CEOs feel that there is a need to transform the organization to become a different entity. What I talked about some time back, with Industry 4.0, every company of the future, the chance are it is going to be a tech company. But that's not the workforce that we have today. Reskilling of workforce, shaping of workforce is going to become more important. Achieving organizational agility. 86% CEOs consider agility to be the next currency because no longer the power of the idea lasts for a decade. Right? Ideas come like this, business models are changing. I don't know if you're watching this war between Uber, Ola happening right now, and what the impact it is creating onto the disaggregated drivers. And I don't know if some of you need to research that, but Meru seems to be coming up with there's a saying in Hindi, dono ke jhagde mein teesre ka fayda, right? So apni roti sek lo. That's exactly what's happening right now. Meru seems to have come up with a very exciting plan yesterday that I saw of making an entry while these guys are fighting with their drivers, right? And therefore I think there's a need for agility, designing a flexible organization, assembling high-performing teams, continuous evaluation and feedback is going to be important. I've got to figure out where do I point to get this right. Okay. Moving forward, CEOs are expecting that we help partner drive organizational transformation through technology. 94% CEOs consider tech disruption as actually an opportunity. Whilst they are worried, but they also consider that as a big opportunity. And I don't know what's next on my slide. 42% of the CEOs are piloting artificial intelligence within their organization. Now, my big belief is AI, machine learning, and deep learning seems to be a misunderstood concept, and we will debate a little bit of that. Any Excel play and goal seek potentially is taking the shape of AI, but I think there are organizations that we know in India have done a fabulous job of that. Scaling growth through skills, 70% of CEOs believe that incubating new skills are vital for business growth. And I think for all of you studying management or engineering, my submission is the one big thing you need to focus on is saying, how do I stay relevant to the changing environment around me? Constantly reskilling yourself, because the way of the future is you're potentially going to work for at least about 70, 80 years of your life. So let's be very real about that. Right? Because with bots coming in, with other stuff coming in, I'm not sure that you're going to be making so much money that you will be able to exit the workforce much earlier. Unless you own like 200 robots that work for you and you're like the one who just collects money because they work for you. That's possible too, right? So those are interesting times to think about. That's it. So quickly, I think if I look at the journey forward, moving forward, aligning HR architecture to business value drivers. I guess I need to move closer this side. Will this work now? Supporting agility through strategy and structure, partnering with your businesses do that. Owning the digital agenda, that's a big one for human resources, because I think working very closely, partnering with your CIO, CTO, and shaping the culture for digital transformation in the organization is important. Building capabilities for the future by virtue of building skills and reskilling your organization and people. Getting alignment within the organization. Three big other shifts that I want to quickly touch upon before I go. Critical outcomes that need to be impacted from an HR organization standpoint. First one really is around workforce strategy and shaping. Second is workforce experience. And third is really around workforce delivery. Workforce structures, you're starting to see a hybrid workforce, and you will see that in your lifetimes, in my lifetime. We will have to worry about saying, how do we ensure we create an environment where robots and people can work together effectively? It's real. It's something that we will all have to figure out. Are you guys excited about that? I mean, you guys in tech should be very excited because you guys are going to create that. And the folks in management, you guys got to figure out how do you solve for this, right? So that's the exciting bit. A third, you're starting to see the networked agile laborer, where information is more accessible. You're starting to see more entreployees, people who want to be more entrepreneurial, and there is no choice for organizations but to make people more entrepreneurial, because that's, when there is innovation, people will want to be part of it and run with it for some time. So that's going to be interesting. And lastly, gig economy. Everybody wants to do short fuse stints. People will want to do work for 2 hours, 3 hours, do only stuff that they like to do. Right? All of us who made careers in human resources, there were parts of our jobs we did not like, but we didn't have a choice. We had to go through it. But more and more as we move forward, we're starting to see people both who are experienced as well as the new generation that's coming in wants to focus on only things that they like to do, that they are good at, and they want to build deeper specialization on and want to be known for. Talking about workforce experience, purpose and culture is going to be important. People want to work for an organization where they know what the purpose of their organization is, and they can connect their personal purpose to the larger purpose of their organization. Culture is going to be a differentiator much as machines come in, because machines are going to create a sense of exclusion. And all the more, the softer side of making people connect with each other, the human connection is going to be important, and the culture of the organization is going to become important, especially so with all that we see currently, with some of the financial services crisis, financial services and banking crisis that we are seeing right now in India, whether it's NBFC or banks, decisions that people take, when the culture is not defined, when values are not stuck by, and you make short fuse decisions, on the long range, the organization suffers, society in general suffers. Value proposition is going to be important. We will have to start looking at every employee as an individual. So HR, there were good old days of HR where you could do a broad brush program and say, boss, this one policy applied to everybody, right? Now we have to start thinking about personas in the workforce to say, I have people who are Gen Z, who are coming in, I have millennials in the workforce, I have Gen X, I have baby boomers, and to each one of them, it means different things. So a intervention that you do or a business decision that you take for your people, you have to think through about it from different lenses. Finally, when I talk about workforce delivery, CEOs will expect HR to come up and think about workforce insights and analytics. If I have an aging workforce, if I don't have a gender neutral workforce, if I have skills that are going to start tapering off, I think new locations that I want to go, how do I use the right people at the right jobs, are going to be all interesting things. And finally, I think it's really the whole journey around analytics, from descriptive, diagnostic, prescriptive to adaptive analytics is something that we need to work about. You will see new roles in HR, and that's happening as we speak. You're going to start seeing what we call as the workforce shaper, somebody who really works undertaking and shaping the workforce of the organization. Employee experience consultant, HR as a function has changed. For those of you who believe you want to be in HR, you need to be supremely good in understanding people from a human resources standpoint. Second, understand technology. And third, understand marketing to be able to really communicate for impact so that you can make the changes that you desire. Robotics capability manager, architect, people data analyst, purpose and culture manager are some of the new jobs that we will start to see play out in the function of human resources. Now, all this is great, right? But are we ready? Do you believe we are ready? What do you guys think? What do you think? Getting there? So this is So this is work that we did with CII Workplace Study 2018. Leadership believes we are 85% ready. Leadership believes we are 85% ready. Baby boomers believe we are 87%. They are more optimistic compared to their leaders. They believe we are 80%, 87% ready. Gen X believes we are 83% ready. Gen Y believes 70% ready. And Gen Z, the folks that really matter, on whose backs these organizations will thrive and live going forward, they believe, boss, barely 56% ready, right? So while 97% of the employees believe that they themselves are ready, only 76% of them believe that the organization is ready as well. And that, I think, is a big challenge, right? So we are staying believing in our la-la land that yes, we are doing what it takes, but we also need to understand that technology is shifting aggressively beyond us. And I think organizations need to increase agility to be able to stay relevant. Finally, the CEO's agenda is really about enhancing the impact of HR. HR no longer is about hiring, training, performance management. It is actually in between some of this. It's really about looking at, and Ramcharan talked some time back about saying HR as a function needs to be broken because he believed it's redundant, it doesn't add value, because we come to such conferences and talk about why HR should be a business partner. But who told you you're not a business partner? Why HR should deserve a seat on the table? The problem is when you talk fluff stuff and you don't understand what it takes to increase sales, what it takes to increase and make the revenues that you need to, what it takes to make the profitability that you need to, and what it takes to be able to take more market share year on year, and how the people agenda, using technology, using digital, using analytics, using AI and all of that, how you can show a CEO an impact on that. That's when you start showing value to your business from an HR standpoint. And how you build a culture that people genuinely come to work and are inspired and excited to do their best for their clients. Second, I think HR will have to start taking a holistic look. Long gone are the days when you can take a look and saying this is not HR and that is not HR. Everything is about HR because the only differentiator organizations will have is people. If you have fabulous people, if you have the A talent, then you have a better chance of creating great product. You have a better chance of creating good services going forward. And finally, you need to understand that disruption is the way of life. Change is the new norm, right? What you designed yesterday will potentially have to be broken and rewired again today. So that's the way of life. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I think I'm pretty much towards the end of it. If you need to reach me, you can catch me on LinkedIn. I'm Unmesh Pawar. If you want to catch me on Twitter, it's UPIM. But I think my submission as I walk by is keep your ears and eyes open to what's happening around you. Geopolitics and macroeconomic factors define and dictate how businesses will work into the future. Second, look at how technology is disrupting this. Look at how shifting of demographics is impacting businesses. And therefore, what you need to do individually to stay relevant to the context that you are operating in. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I'm not sure we have the time for a question, but I could take one or two questions. It's always difficult to ask the first question in the morning, so I get that. I can see some people who have really woken up at 5:30 in the morning today. I think that resonates with you. Shoot. Can you give me your name first? Tejshri, okay, go ahead. I can hear you. As a HR? What I expect from people when I want to hire people? I think HR is a very noble function. And therefore, I want people who genuinely have a burning desire to make change happen. First, I think it's very glamorous. Yeah, we get to wear good clothes and stand and talk good stuff. But that's a byproduct of it. The fact appreciation of what's happening in social systems. And third, numbers, right? You need to understand how money is made and how money is lost. If these three things, does it help?
My question was, what do you expect from GITAM students to be able to hire them as, like in the technical field? Or when will you come to our campus for recruitment?
For technical?
Yeah.
That is clearly a planted question. So I think the short answer to that is, I'm hoping that of what you guys have studied is phenomenal. And when I go back and talk to my teams who look at campus hiring, if they tell me that yes, our experience with these students or somebody else is hiring and their experience is far so phenomenal that we need to be here, we will be here. Yeah?
Thank you.
So thank you for that. Was that a planted question or no? There was a question somewhere here. Go ahead. Yeah, Nishad.
I read an anecdote online where an employee automated his task, right? He was doing, just paperwork, online Excel sheet, etc. He automated his work, and when the HR found out that he was doing so, he was fired. Now, if the topic over here is disruption, and you're talking that employees should be able to come up with new stuff, how are you going to manage this if the people who do disrupt and come up with new techniques are fired for doing so? Thank you.
I don't know who that HR guy was, but
it did happen.
So I get the point, right? But I think here's what my big belief is. A, that person shouldn't have been fired because he was actually creating disruption. He wasn't disrupted, he created disruption, right? But I think it's a reality you can't run away from. I'm not going to be diplomatic and say that with robotics and RPA happening, jobs will not be disrupted. Jobs that are bottom of the food chain, that are predictable, repeatable, that can be made into a rule, i.e. an algorithm, will be disrupted. Yeah. And therefore it is important that in college, we learn stuff that is relevant, which is not what machines can do. And therefore the humanity skills become more important. So whilst learning technology, learning your business models is important, the softer skills, problem solving, critical thinking, team management, communication, empathy are all relevant skills. And I'm hoping that at GITAM you are learning the value of these skill sets. So if you learn some of these skill sets, you will maneuver your way. And I think I'm a big believer that technology will augment, but of course, first wave, it will disrupt jobs.
Thank you.
Helps? All right, I think with no more questions.
Sorry, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes, please.
How are you doing, sir?
Very well, thank you.
I'm a HR student as well as my fellow classmates here, and like many other HR students in other colleges as well. So we know all. I'm sorry, this is not. Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah. So we all do know the foundations and theories and studying HR and
you keep going. I can listen to you even without the mic.
Is it okay?
So we've got sensors there.
How can I equip myself to fit in or to be demanded in the present scenario or in the future scenarios following up in the HR department?
I think I already answered that when Tej asked the question. I think one is...
Not as a GITAM student, but to actually be in demand all over, like anywhere, to be like, I want to be in demand. I want to, like, you get what I'm trying to say. To probably equip myself to what companies are looking for, present scenario and future as well.
I think just do what I said.
Right?
Just do what I said, right?
Do you have any specific courses you mean, or just be sensitive to environment?
I think there's enough. If you look at MOOC courses today, there's enough and more around analytics. There's enough and more around experience, right? If you can focus on those two, I think you should be much more attractive to most organizations. Because there's genuinely a lack of, if you go back to the slides, the new jobs, right, of the future, those are skills to start building on. And I think there's enough and more material right on MOOC programs that you can play out with. And if I would be hiring on campus, if somebody said, I've tried this model, I've done this in my summers, and we have done this, I would be willing to do that, because the problem is right now, HR teams are learning this on the job. So I, for one, ensure that all my HR team has got trained on design thinking. Because what comes out as a value from that is phenomenal. We are reinventing how performance management is done for KPMG across India right now. Now that using design thinking, I'm teaching these people. Had somebody said, you know what, I've done design thinking in school, I've implemented 3 projects with this, so well, you should hire this guy or gal. You get what I'm saying? So simple as that.
So you're saying design thinking, analytics, and experience.
Design thinking, analytics, experience are 3 areas to potentially differentiate.
Sure. Thank you.
Well, it seems to be a lot of questions. Go ahead. What do you think will happen? Yeah. What is your take on it? I gave you some broad frames. Think about it. What do you think will happen?
I think they're giving an increase in entrepreneurship and less in employment.
You believe that? You believe that we can sustain as a siloed country? Look at how many friends we have around us, right? Friends as in around India and our neighbors. How many friends do we have really? How many friends do we have? You get my question?
Yeah, I do. I'm
When
not sure of how many friends we have.
Look at our defense spend right now. You get what I'm saying? If you have a quieter India subcontinent, you don't have to burn so much money on defense. You might as well would have used that in
Some other sectors.
And you know what is happening with defense, right? Some of the stuff that's coming out right now. Some deals. So please understand, what you get to hear are snippets. Try and see what's happening under all of this. We have a big problem of infrastructure in India. Yes or no? Where are we spending our money right now? We have a problem of education and reskilling. Where are we spending our money right now?
Statues.
So look, I'm not political in any way, but all I'm asking you guys to do is be smart, and try and understand ask 5 whys and you'll know what's happening there. That's my submission. I do not believe India can continuously prosper if the world in general is in chaos. When the world grows at about 4%, India potentially seems to be growing at 7.5. I am not sure we will grow at 7.5 if that slips anyway. So the world needs to grow so that India can grow. I think the best India has done potentially was 2004, 2008. When the world was growing at 5%, we grew at, I think, I don't know, potentially around 8.5 or so. Right? So think about it. You have to, there is a level of interdependence. You can't run away from it. But yes, we as India need to start being more entrepreneurial and really have something which is India out that we can be proud about. We need to stop copying US startup models in India or Chinese startup models in India. We genuinely need to have India out, indigenous, made in India solutions. There's enough and more. We only touch the tip of the iceberg, right? If you look at telecom adoption, right, or telephony adoption, we barely have made 25% penetration. So there's a lot that can happen with that. Geo is showing us some strides on that space, but they're interesting times. So watch it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to be able to ensure that you keep enjoying this session. There are more better speakers coming behind me. So on that note, thank you for being such a lovely audience.
Thank you, sir. It's been a lovely speech where you've taken us through the journey of internet exploration and the way it's catering to the global world. We are very delighted, and I'm sure that all of us have got enlightened and inspired by your speech regarding the mega trends altering the business landscape and the evolution of the HR function. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome our next strategic keynote speaker, Mr. Vinay Agrawal, Global Head, Business HR, Tech Mahindra.
Hello. So I will hold till the time, and if you want to leave the hall, please do that. Once you stop that, I will start. Huh? Yeah. And- Please do that fast so that we can get on. Okay. So first of all, I think Umesh has done a phenomenal job in terms of very information, a lot of illustration. What I will try to do, how much time I have? 15 minutes? 20 minutes, okay. Fine. So I'll make it quick. So first thing is, I want to say that there are a couple of people from GITAM who are working in my team. One of them called this morning. He was not, I told him that I'm going to GITAM. I was very happy. This guy basically has set the record of really having a maximum promotion in a short span of 4 to 5 years. So congratulations to you. Yeah. I'm also impressed by all I have seen. The question I heard, very, very witty guys. So my only request would be that I may not be able to answer a very specific question as an employer, but other than I'm absolutely fine. And I have only 20 minutes, so if you want to catch up offline, I'm more than happy. I want to make most of this opportunity, so I would stay here rest of the day. So I will probably do more of reflecting and more of soft aspects because HR is all about people. So first of all, I have made a lot of mistakes in my career, made very unconventional choices, and that may have a takeaway for you. So I'll quickly, my river of journey. So by training, I'm BTech in chemical engineering, nothing to do with HR, nothing to do with IT. Worked in manufacturing, moved to IT, now in HR. This is my first job. How many are doing the HR masters here? Okay. So you're very well segregated, very well connected, right? So HR 3.0, he already covered it very, very quickly. I just want to probably make salient points that the HR functions has really evolved. And in one of the forums, somebody said that in the future organizations, there would be G3, which is CEO, CFO, and CHRO, or Chief People Officer. The importance of HR has increased so much. It's no more a administrative function. And most of us probably stick, I would say personally, we are stuck at HR 2.0. We still have to do some things and move on to 3.0. So HR is a business partner. So I will probably also answer the last question in a slightly different way. So if I have to hire a HR guy for my team, I would look at a frame. I would not too much worry about specific subject. I would look at a frame, a person who knows the context of today and tomorrow. I would look for a person who's passionate about changing things, and basically talent analytics and some basically comfort of the number would be added advantage. So, and also I think very important point I want to make here that since all of us are from HR fraternity, of course we're talking about HR and telling that probably it's the most important thing. The reality is that HR and leadership are basically fusing. So we have probably undertaken some leadership programs where we have nominated people from HR as well as the business leaders. So all the discussion we are having on the HR is all applicable to leadership, therefore relevant to all of you. And I also kind of, another point probably which makes me feel home is that I'm an engineer, then HR. And HR, I'm only 5 years into the HR, so I'm also a student of HR, learning whatever probably I'm going to share here is a bunch of failures, bunch of success. Some experiments worked, some did not. So all of that happening, and I'm still learning HR. Huge way to go in terms of what HR is. So this is what I was talking about. This is Troika or G3 or there may be some other functions like CEO may be also important. So the point I'm making is that HR functions really become very important. So what is changing is that basically we know more. Of course, as HR, we try to retain maximum number of people, but in terms of prioritization, we're saying 2% critical roles we need to identify, and we need to be very, very careful about nurturing those people. And one thing which is going to change tremendously next 2-3 AI. I want to take some time because there's it's applicable to engineers as well as MBA students. So analytics has been, I think, a biggest disruptor in my view. So analytics and your 5G, which is your bandwidth increasing, computing power increasing. So these are 2-3 factors, technology factors, which is causing disruption across the industry, across the globe. So for engineers who are looking at IT industry as a place to really build your career on, you must probably invest in AI, ML. I don't know whether they're part of curriculum. If they're not, then there are MOOC courses you should do that. For people in HR or other management function, I think this is very clear that the analytics is going to play everywhere in the organization. So far, I think a lot of HR decisions, people decisions have been taken on guts, subjective, intuition, and some data. That's going to change really 3 years down the line. There is so much of data, so much of insight about talent. A lot of those decisions will be guided by the data. Okay. So a couple of things basically which could happen probably more. So the valuation of talent traditionally has been number of experience, 10-year experience guy, 15 years, and the hierarchy really goes up as you accumulate the number of years experience. That's not going to change. This is already in practice. Everybody has to confront the question that what value I bring. If I'm only administratively senior having 25 experience, that's not the, and if that is the case, I need to really worry about my job. So valuation of talent is something which is really going to, so when you look at your career, you need to probably see the context and see what value I can bring to the organization my first year, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. And that probably will guide you your career journey. The other thing I think people are talking about is that, any organization who has built the capability of dynamically reallocating people from one place to other places would thrive. So it's like film industry, right? You make a film, you decide to make a film, you basically build a team of script writer, actors, music, etc. Films made, project over, dissolve, some other project. So that's going to be, I think, nature of, especially IT. I'm very sure it is already it's a project industry, project organization. And the redeployment, quickly doing a redeployment, putting the best possible team is the ability which is going to make organizations successful or unsuccessful. Third thing is the change. This is a semantic question, but there's a deep insights here. So a few years back, change management was basically, I would say, in the conversation, very often used terms. I don't hear change or change management much now. I hear disruption and transformation. So whether it is a personal level or it is organization level, incremental changes is not going to serve the purpose. In fact, we have identified the key leaders in the company, and we have designed a program to really make significant positive changes into those leaders, because if they don't transform, the company cannot transform. So understand that incremental change will not serve the purpose. You have to think big. Okay. So, as I said, that I want to really belabor a lot of trends which have been very well articulated by Unmesh. So, you as a talent, and again, this question is absolutely applicable to all HR fraternity, engineering student, MBA students, that when you become part of an organization, how I think it's going to really impact you. How many are born after 1995? Okay. So some researchers have defined Gen Z as people born after 95. And all the research points to the fact that they are very, very different from others. Inclusion or right interpretation or not. So there is a strong need to belong to or having a higher purpose. You want to probably be very vocal, which we saw in the last few questions. I think you were very, very transparent, very, very honest, and very upfront, very witty. So this is more for basically a fraternity that in one of the connect sessions I had for the people team, the entire team, people say that, okay, the youngsters say, I won't work night shift, I want to work only in AI, I can't relocate. All those kind of basically clarity or criteria people have in mind. So I said that's some these differences we have to really work with them and resolve and find a way to move on. So there is a difference, and I would say that while companies and leaders, we are probably introspecting and see how we can probably have a balance. You also need to think about how you can probably gel into the whole environment. So somewhere I heard a month into the created when he just saying that 8 months if you are expecting your career ambition to realize, that's not going to happen. So something I think you need to work upon is basically how you have realistic expectation, how do you build your career. It certainly cannot be built in a year's time. So that's something a point for you to think over. So the point I want to make here, and so even with the reduced time, I thought this topic I really want to spend a few minutes. It's very, very applicable. So there are, as I said, that basically companies are nothing but aggregation of individuals, and if transformation of companies is required, transformation is required at the individual level. And these 5 characteristics, our chairman, Anand Mahindra, he himself is personally very, very passionate about this. And his message is that, guys, please look on that and don't just worry, don't just probably look at business aspect, revenue, EBITDA. But if we have to really emerge as a winning organization, we have to go deeper and see what kind of basically personal transformation we need to undertake. So, for example, now thanks to startup culture in India, last 5-6 years, there's very good, I think the ecosystem has started to flourish. So the balance of creative mind and rational mind, I think it's getting better. But that's I would say the personal trait that we need to reinforce, nurture in each of the employee. Multiplier, so as a leader or even as a basically employee, whatever good things you do, it has a multiplier effect. So a leader, we look at the leader who has the more high performance. So that's a multiplier effect. Managing fear, anybody's guess, instead of question, but anybody wants to probably respond to that? Does that resonate with you in terms of why fear and why managing fear is important? So the point here is that there would be job security, as I think we enjoyed, our generation of previous generation enjoyed. Job security is absolutely not there, right from CEO. CEO gets appraised once in a quarter. So the even tenure of CEO globally has gone down. So fear is there in terms of or not. Now that probably we have to build our ability to really convert this into a creative energy, and that's not easy. But that's what I think we need to do in terms of how do we convert this into really creative thinking and some innovations coming out of that. Mindfulness, and that's something basically all of us may need to really look at. So there was a sense of euphoria saying that I'm multitasking. I can do WhatsApp responses, I can check email at the same time, I'm part of the meeting also. So it was basically, it was a sense of happiness saying that, okay, I'm able to do so much work simultaneously. 2 hours I did this also, I'm telling you. But I think as we speak today, the distraction, or I would say the multitasking scale has gone beyond a threshold and people are saying that we are not able to do either of job that well. So we are in a meeting doing something else. We're not really understanding or even not able to observe the people that what thoughts they are putting on the table, what feelings there. So now there's admission that okay, multitasking for a few things which without much impact, adverse impact can be done, good. But some important things that really require full attention, we have to stop multitasking, and those activities, those jobs, those priority things, we should do with full mind. Now, absolutely give your complete attention to that moment, to that activity. Trust, the most difficult thing to do, but unless passion, we would struggle. So I think this is the fifth characteristics that we need to build. So I think we've taken approximately 20, not exceeded. If there is a time, we can take some questions. Otherwise, we are already running late. So thank you very much for hearing, and happy to answer your questions if you have. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for the excellent presentation. West is aging, rest of the world is becoming young, and especially we are in a special demographic profile where the average age of an Indian is actually coming down. It's Europe by 2020, average age is 40, or US 38, but by 2020 an average Indian would only be 30, and this year by year coming down. So everyone thought like demographic dividend, and West has to depend upon the rest of the world for getting employees and all. But already they have answered to this. For example, countries like Japan or Korea or China already used robotics or artificial intelligence or Internet of Things to answer to this problem. So maybe tomorrow a global HR has to decide while assigning for a work whether he has to assign for a human employee or a robotic employee. Maybe this is going to be the future. Of course, technology is going to create more and more jobs, no doubt, but I want your view on this. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So this is a good question. There is a normally, I think all of us are afraid that AI may take away our job, the robot may take our job. But my take, I'm very clear about looking at the history. Whenever technology has improved, it has created other services, other I think demands, other requirements. So robot and AI can't go beyond a point. So they can only probably, what started as the MIS, so 10, 15 years back, all the information system was called MIS. So it's an evolution. The information probably is going to give you much more second insight, which earlier were not possible. So to that extent, there will be improvement, but this certainly will not take away the job. Now, I'll give example of HR itself. In HR, if I don't probably disrupt to myself and basically make sure that I am doing, I'm looking at the, for example, looking at the software aspect, looking at leadership development, unless I'm not building my contribution there, and if I'm only stuck in operations, which is Excel sheet and review, certainly I need to worry about I may not have a job 3 years later. So the point is that each one, and AI is one, I think, the biggest monster which everybody has to worry about. Now each one have to see that what is the impact. So for me or for HR professionals, the talent is something we need to pay a lot of attention. One, and second thing, we need to focus more on the culture, leadership development, which no AI can disrupt. So those human things certainly would be, I think, the biggest area for HR professionals. And that's what we need to say, how we safeguard from, if my job contents currently are doing 80% Excel, I need to worry about. So I need to probably get into OD development. So thank you very much.
I got a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Quick question. I know you talked about appraisals and performance management. The bell curve, which we talked about, the 20-70-10, is there a disruptor for that?
So, see, I think the philosophical, I would say the fundamental problem with the appraisal system is that it takes you back. It takes you what happened last 1 year. So it's a postmortem, and except few people who get excellent rating, everybody else is demoralized. There is no contribution to what going to happen in the future. So I think these were the fundamental issues. I think 2 years back, it was fashion to say that we have dropped the bell curve. And we also know that all those companies struggling, if not bell curve, if not rating system, how do you differentiate for the better performance? And some companies are still struggling, some companies have found a way to do that. For example, one company, large company, said that we will do the compensation decision basis various factors. One would be performance, but the rating would be done but hidden. So the employee gets two things. One is a constructive feedback. Second is a compensation revision as required by market correction, internal parity, etc. So I would say the short answer to the question is that as long as we are able to find a solution to fix that root cause, which creates everything negative, nothing positive, that's what I think. Whichever way works, but that has to be addressed. It should be forward-looking. It should be.
Thank you. So there's no disruptor to that bell curve yet.
Yeah, so bell curve, I think most of the companies have either dropped it or adapted it to fix the root cause. They still continue to create a performance culture.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for those valuable insights regarding the four major disruptions, namely globalization, demographics, technology, climate change, and its impact on the business economy in today's scenario. And also for throwing light upon the new thrust areas for HR that are essential for surviving in the marketplace in the long run.
Now may I request Professor K. Sivaram Krishna Garu to come onto the dais to our sponsors. Mr. Sudhir Devarpalli, co-sponsor from Skill Recruit. Mr. BVLN Prasad Garu, MD Q Minds.